I've spent over a decade of my life dreaming of becoming a gaming content creator, but pursuing that dream made me fall out of love with video games entirely. If you don't know me, I'm Rawk, and I've been making gaming content on this channel for over 5 years now. And if you do know me, sorry it's been such a long time since we last chatted. I've had a lot that I've needed to work through, as you're about to see. Even though the format of my content has changed quite a lot over the years, the core DNA of my content and the process behind it has remained pretty unchanged. I play video games, and I make videos about those games. Initially, I started doing this as a hobby because I genuinely wanted to talk about some of the games that I played, and I wanted a creative outlet to express myself through. Eventually though, around 2 years in, my mindset towards content creation started to shift. I always knew that there was career potential in YouTube. I mean, I grew up watching YouTube more than TV. I had first-hand experience of how creators on this platform could be household names in the same way that our favourite actors and musicians and comedians could be. But after doing this for a couple of years, I started to see my career potential in this space. I started to realise that to at least some extent, I'm good at this. I was making content that, while extremely derivative, was entertaining and had at least some craftsmanship to it. So I started trying to view YouTube as a career, and this would really become the primary focus of content creation for me in around 2023, the same year that I opened up my Patreon and started producing short-form content. Both of these, in my eyes, were career moves and would get me one step closer to the life that I'd always dreamed of. Along this path, there was a fundamental shift that happened in my life that I didn't even notice until earlier this year. In the beginning, I played games whenever I wanted to, and if doing so just so happened to inspire me to make a video, I would make a video on that game. But as my focus started to shift into turning this into a career, I started playing games specifically and almost exclusively to make a video on them. I know this may seem like a subtle change, but it honestly had a huge impact on me. I stopped playing games with an open mind and a sense of curiosity about what they might have in store for me, and I started to play them with more of a critical eye. What are the mechanics of this game? How does that tie into the story? How does the design of the world affect those two things? What do I like? What don't I like? And why? And to be perfectly clear, that in and of itself isn't a bad thing. I love thinking about those questions whenever I'm really hooked on a game. But when I had those games primed in my mind before I'd even given the game I was playing a chance to hook me, it got really tiresome. In moderation, this is fine, genuinely. I don't think there's any issue with experiencing that every now and then. But that's the thing. I was trying to turn YouTube into a career, and those two ideas were directly at odds with one another. I was trying to make a career in game reviewing, so I started to play games almost exclusively for videos. So instead of having that hypercritical eye on every now and then, it was every single time I sat down to play a game. This became exhausting, and that's not even to make mention of the fact that for a good long while, I tried to stick to either a weekly or a bi-weekly schedule. I had a lot of videos that were a lot more broadly about gaming, so it's not like I was doing this for every single video, but a lot of the games that I was making videos on were upwards of 10 hours long, so I'd always be doing a lot of preliminary work on them, whether that be collecting gameplay or collating my notes or whatever. I was stuck in this cycle of playing a game with a hypercritical lens, trying to get through it as fast as I could just so that I could meet my own self-imposed deadlines, getting burnt out on the game about 70 to 80% through, and then walking away from the game with thoughts and opinions but not really having remembered the game or properly enjoying my experience with it. I could point out what was good about the game, I could tell you which mechanics I enjoyed and why, but I very rarely walked away from a game feeling that I had enjoyed the experience of playing it. And by the way, I was doing this as a full-time student. This is what I was doing in my free time. I genuinely have no idea how I managed that. Now, to the best of my ability, I always try to use my own gameplay footage in videos, which in the case of reviewing one singular game, ideally meant that I'd be recording every single minute of my playtime. Again, this doesn't sound like a huge deal, but it added another layer of work to playing games for me. I had to set up my capture card and my software and get all of my file management sorted and make sure that I stopped playing the game with enough time to export the video files. When I replaced my laptop with a PC, that meant sitting at my desk every time that I was playing a game and making sure that everything was set up correctly. And God, the Let's Plays, Jesus. So, in 2024, I decided it would be a cool idea if I could use my own live reactions to a game in the video about that game, and the easiest way to do this was to record audio while I was recording gameplay. Audibly reacting to things when I'm playing a game doesn't come very naturally to me though, so the obvious solution was to record Let's Plays! More content! Yay! To be clear, I did enjoy making some of these Let's Plays. Luigi's Mansion 2 and Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach were the two main games that I tackled in this style, and I'm genuinely really proud of those series. But now, every time I played a game, I was in performance mode, on top of all of the other factors that were already causing me to not enjoy the games I was playing. This clearly took a toll on me. I did mini playthroughs of Paper Mario Sticker Star, Color Splash, and the Origami King, and I fell asleep whilst playing the games in every single recording. It's fine, I told myself. Sure, I may not be experiencing games in the way that I'd maybe like to be experiencing them, but it's okay, because this is working towards a larger goal. Once this channel becomes my full-time job, then I can start reevaluating the ways that I play games and try to connect with them more in a way that I would like to. So, once I finished my university degree, I decided I'd fake it till I made it. I was taking YouTube full-time, whether I was making the money to justify it or not. That would solve all of my problems. Did it? Well, I know that you're intelligent enough to figure out the answer to that. Taking YouTube full-time was the best thing I could have done for my channel. In the 6 or so weeks that I did this, I managed to accumulate over 400,000 views, over half of my channel's lifetime total. I was producing and releasing some form of content every single day, and considering they were all focused around games, that meant that I had to play a lot more games. For a lot of these videos I had gathered the gameplay well in advance, but there were a lot of upcoming projects that I needed footage for. Let's Play footage of. So naturally, I formally worked gameplay gathering into my work routine. The main game I did this for was Stray. I set a day aside just to record gameplay of it. 8 full hours to record a 5-hour long game. And it took me about 3 weeks to get through it. It took me so long to work myself up to actually sitting down and playing the game. It took me so long to get into the right headspace, to be performative and to be entertaining, and it took so much out of me every single time. By the time I'd beaten the game, I was so fatigued of it. Even though my playthrough was only 6 hours long across 3 weeks, I was so drained. This is probably because I also decided to start doing a Patreon exclusive series where I would log my experiences and thoughts on a game as I was playing it. This was genius, I thought, because it would give me a low effort way to get lots and lots and lots of videos out on the Patreon. I could market them on the main channel and hopefully get more people to subscribe over there. But it was just one more layer, one more thing that I had to do every single time I wanted to play any game. And I remember it so clearly. After I just finished Stray and I recorded my final Patreon video on it, I went to go edit that video and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. That's fine, I told myself. I'll just start working on my next video and my next batch of shorts and polls. I'm doing a long play of Animal Crossing Wild World, so I'll make a poll about the different villager types and I'll plop the gameplay in the timeline ready to edit. I sat down in front of my editing software and I just froze and my heart sank. because I realized I couldn't do this anymore. I didn't want to do this anymore. And in that moment, I decided I'm done. I am done with YouTube. I'm done trying to get these videos seen. I'm done trying to maximize viewership and audience retention. I'm done pumping out some piece of content with only a fraction of my soul imbued into it every single day. I'm done. I decided it was time to stop and to start prioritizing other things. My health, my relationships, and the thing that suffered the most at the hands of this channel, my love of games. I've spent the past month or so playing games not to make videos on them, not because I think they'd be an interesting discussion piece, but because I wanted to. I took a look at my backlog, picked out the game I was most excited to play, and I just played it. And it has felt absolutely incredible. I've refound my passion for gaming almost immediately. I'm back to being that kid who was so excited to experience new games, to delve into new worlds and stories and gameplay mechanics. But I've also rediscovered another passion. The passion that started this whole journey to begin with. In trying to distance myself from content creation, I found myself craving it more than ever before, but not in the same way that I have been these past few years. In the past few years, it's always been, I can't wait to make this new video because I can't wait to roll the dice again, take another step closer to the career of my dreams. But now, I can't wait to make my next video because I have thoughts and feelings that I want to share with the world. I'm not lying when I say I've written more video scripts and notes in my absence than I ever could have hoped to whilst actively pursuing it. That's how I know that content creation itself wasn't the problem, but it was the way I was approaching it and the mindset that I had towards it. So, I'm not done with YouTube. After all of this, I'm not done here. Not entirely, but things do need to change. For starters, I'm never going to play another game with the sole intention of making a video about it. If I play a game and feel inspired to make a video about it, that's perfectly fine, but never again will making a video be the sole reason behind me playing a game. Secondly, to help with this, I'm going to start outsourcing any and all gameplay that I don't already have in the database that I've accumulated over the last 5 or so years, and I'll have a note either on screen or in the description when the gameplay that I'm using on screen isn't my own. Thirdly, I need to slow down on the editing. The flashy visuals of the previous videos were great, and I did have a lot of fun refining my craft in that way, but it's not the primary focus of these videos anymore. I'm much more interested in sharing my story and my thoughts and my feelings. This also means there's going to be a lot more of this. A lot more face time, both in the videos themselves and in the thumbnails, because ultimately, this is a personal journey I'm going on. I'm letting you in on a piece of my soul, and it would feel disingenuous to hide behind flashy edits like I've sort of had a tendency to do as of late. And finally, I'm just gonna do it when I want to do it. I've got a load of ideas that I'm so excited to bring to life, but I'm in no rush to get all of them out and stick to a schedule with them. The ideas aren't going anywhere, YouTube isn't going anywhere, and I'm not going anywhere. Not yet, at least. I will, however, be putting the Patreon content and the side channels on an indefinite hiatus. I can only apologise to specifically patrons because I've made so many promises that I haven't been able to keep. So I implore you, please cancel your memberships. I appreciate your support so much. I really, really do. But I can't keep making these promises to you and not fulfilling them. So, when the mood strikes me, I'll be back here telling you about some rabbit hole that I've been down or some journey that I've been on. And when the mood doesn't strike me, I'll be continuing to nurture and cultivate my passion for games by working through my backlog. And if you find yourself wanting to do the same thing, I've got some great tips on the best way to do that in the video on screen right now. I think you're going to find it really useful.